Fula coming to you with another video slash commentary. You know, with the whole divesting thing and things like that, I did a video on that, and a couple of videos back. But I kind of want to follow up on it and take the words out of the horse's mouth. Okay, I want to take the words out of the horse's mouth. All right. Um, I really and shout outs to this. I forgot the channel holder's name, but he's pushing the same card that I'm pushing, and he's pushing that card very hard. He's pushing this line very hard. It's sad to say it, but like, yeah, I'm not trying to brag about this, but by the time this gender war is over, I'll have a shoulder full of stripes. I will have a shoulder full of stripes because I'm not bragging about the work that I'm putting in, but the work that I'm putting in is practical, it's logical, and it goes back to, and I have like my evidences backing up what I'm talking about. Now, in terms of from an Islamic standpoint, like interracial marriage, that's something that is, allowed. And the main thing that people look at in a marriage, or let's say like in the ideal situation, the ideal situation that the person would be looking at is that they would be looking at the person's character, and they would be looking at the person's religion. Okay, that's what they would be looking at after overall. That's why, like back in the day, Bilal, who was Bilal was actually Arab. His father was a Yemeni. His father was Yemeni. His mom was black. But due to his lineage, due to that lineage, he was looked at as one of the downtrodden members of society. But that did not stop him from marrying into a very, very prestigious family in Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, radiallahu an, may Allah be pleased with him. He married the sister of him. Now, I want to read something, okay, that goes to the point that has been made a lot before. A lot of these channels, I'm not going to name their names, but they push this divestment. They really tell you need to date out. They're telling women to date out. They're telling like black women to date out and stuff like that. They push this very, very heavily, right? They push this issue. They push this card very heavily. Okay. But I found an article, and it was interesting what that article said. It said basically that many Muslims who immigrated to the West have a hard time reconciling the idea of such potential unions, which are perceived to be a threaten the possibility of their grandchildren losing their cultures, concerns over possible sons and daughters-in-law, and their families being unfamiliar and even disrespectful about their norms and mores. It's talking about interracial marriages. The author goes and mentions for African American Muslim women who perhaps face the most daunting task out of any group of Muslim women in finding mates due to a shortage of single suitable African American Muslim men. Now, it's not about shortages, it's about African American Muslim men marrying out. That's what the real issue is, because the reason why they're marrying out is, I hate to say this, just because, she, like, that she all of a sudden became Muslim, doesn't mean that she doesn't carry like Keisha culture before. Keisha culture before that. As a matter of fact, a lot of them convert because they meet a guy that, that kind of like sets them off. They don't convert like based off of like research, based off of actually like wanting to like excel in the religion. They convert based off of like whims and desires. I'm just being real, and I'm just being real from what I've experienced a lot of the time. Maybe a small minority of them do convert, take it seriously, actually study, and do things like that. But a lot of them convert because of the benefits which they think will come with that conversion. Meaning that if they can lock down like like let's say they can lock down a God fearing Muslim man, and part of being God fearing is providing for your wife, and she is, and again, how it works when women have the most freedom in Islam, because a man has to provide for his wife, but at the same time, if the wife wants to work, all the money she gets to keep for herself. She doesn't have to do anything. And also, like, the husband is still obligated to provide for her. I think that a lot of times, a lot of these women, I hate to say it, they like get, and this is by no means me slandering them, but Pookie Ray Ray had their share. They had their go at it, how to go at it. And then, sometimes they're like single parents, and then they come into the fold of Islam in hopes that like there's going to be a dude there to save them. Since like in the Prophet alayhi salatu salam's time, you did have widows being married, but they were widows though. They weren't just single parents that just decided to like just play ball. Now now he goes on to say that Muslim men, compounded by their aversion to blackness that too many non-black Muslims hold relating the standards of beauty, the pool of marriageable Muslim become even more decreased when African and American Muslim men marry non-African Muslim women, or marry Christian women. You're allowed to do that, but I'm not gonna marry no Christian woman. I'm cool on that. Now, the author goes on to say that there's nothing wrong with looking within your own ethnic groups. I've been called racist a lot of times because I said I'm not marrying no Black American Muslim woman. I'm only sticking with my own African. Been called racist many times because of that preference. And I also said that like I'm actually, if I marry out, I'm gonna marry out to a person that has been traditionally Muslim for a long time. Be it like from Kyrgyzstan, be it from Kazakhstan, be it from Uzbekistan, be it from Tajikistan, be it from Turkmenistan, be it from Azerbaijan, the Sunni population, not the Shias. But yeah, that's what I would do if I marry out. Now, the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu salam, he said that you should marry a woman based off of her wealth, her family status, her beauty, and her deen. But select the deen so that you would be blessed, most important. A lot of these women don't even want to accept the basics of the religion. Now let's look at what the Prophet alayhi salatu salam did. The Prophet alayhi salatu salam, he married a Jew, Sophia bint Akhtab. This was an intermarriage, Now, there were Sahaba who were in intertribal or inter-ethnic marriages. the Prophet arranged those marriages. You had Imam Zayd bin Ali bin Al Hussein, Ibn Ali Talib. He was married. Zayd, he was married. He married to Zainab, a lady from the Quraysh. As I mentioned earlier, Bilal, he married Hala bin Auf, the sister of Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, who was the richest of the Sahaba. Zorak, a man free from slavery, he married the Prophet Nelatu alayhi salatu salam. He married him to Amara bin Bashir ibn Abi al-Aus bin Umayyah. There was another man, Abdullah bin Raza, a man free from slavery. He married bin Amir ibn Harith, Hore. Ammar ibn Yasser, he married the sister of Amir bin Horaith, Abu Midjam married someone from Bani Zura. Mikdad, there was Al Mikdad. He was black. He married Duba bin Al Zubair, the daughter of the Prophet's paternal uncle. Usama bin Zayd, the son of Zayd, married a Qurayshi woman. He was trying to break down the tribal chauvinism of the Arabian tribes and stuff like that. He basically said if someone comes to marry and you are pleased with his deen and his character, then marry him. If not, there will be chaos and widespread corruption on the earth. And dang, unfortunately, this aged too well. What he said aged too well, because the thing is, when a black woman marries out, right, she's doing out of spite, hatred, bitterness, and just kind of like a get even way. She's not really doing it like out of like, she's doing it for superficial reasons. She's not doing it for I want to say like a moral reason. So when you have these channel holders who are pushing that, it's because they've already had their fun and they're looking for like a beta Brad to like, carry the weight now. So I want to go into something real quick. I want to go into two things, actually. Let me see if I can find the video. Let me see. Okay, looks like I can't find the video of it. I can't find the video of it, but let me go to another video that I actually saved, and I'm gonna get into it, and then I'm just gonna break that down, and then and again, this is coming from the horse's mouth. Like, this is not coming from like this is not coming from whatchamacallit, like this is not coming from, say, my own nafs. You know, this is not based on my own nafs. This is based on coming from the horse's mouth.
Who's BWs over other races, but it's on your lip from other groups of men. Like, get no problem using the first group of women as toilets, but I'm not really into that type of stuff. Maybe giving me neck so I can fuck the second group of women. Because the first group of women always brag about how big their lips are and their mouth are, but they don't really know how to use it, so it's pointless for them to brag about it just because they gotta put on a bunch of chapstick 20 times a day or lotion 50 times a day in the summer. But they want to brag about how big their lips are, okay?
And so, like, when we do content like this, you know, that's why I had to move my content from my original page to this page, because I was getting attacked so much. You know, so the good news is the people who were on the original page, they haven't gotten wind of this page, and inshallah, Allah will protect this page so they don't get wind of it. But there was one woman in particular who basically attacked the hell out of me, you know, calling me all types of names and stuff like that because she got triggered at certain things. And the reason why she got triggered is because, like, me being a Fulani, she was hurt because of the simple fact that, like, a majority of Fulani I know would not go for, like, a used up, like, Belejo woman. You know what I mean? They like, there's like a, I guess you can say there's like a sense of like moral code. You know what I mean? And so you know, when you do these contents and stuff like that, you will be attacked. But so far, I'm out the way so far. But this brother going in, you know, everything he's saying is pretty much facts. But let's get to what I really want to get to soon.
But they're useless, right? Anyways, I'm sure most people could agree that they would choose the second group of women. So with that being said, it should be no surprise that Bronny James chose the second group of women. Just common sense. You see how
everybody remembers this, though. Everybody remembers this. There was an outpour. There was like an outrage with him going to prom with this woman, and no outrage when Meghan Markle married Prince Harry, though. You know, typical Keisha having their cake and eating it too.
I don't even got to bring race into it. But we're going to bring race into it. But before we bring race into it, let me let the white man of these weave ships praise. The same white man.
And they do. Like, they do. Like, I mean, I've heard them speak many times about how, oh, I'm going to get a white man. You know what I mean? Kids are going to come out good and stuff like that. I don't want to date no dust bucket and stuff like that. I don't want to marry no dust bucket, but you gave that dust bucket a couple of kids, though. But now you're looking for a savior. You know what I mean? You're looking for a savior. But let's listen straight from the horse's mouth and see what he says.
That took 7 on Mount Buffalo. Give you an introduction. This is a classic clip I will continue to use. And with that being said, let's play the intro.
As a white man in the West, do I think a white man should ever procreate, marry, or be with a black woman? The answer is no. Why?
Boom. Straight from the horse's mouth. Boom. Boom. And best believe that whatchamacallit is going to take heed to his points, that his fellow his fellow. I don't want to call him Caucasian anymore because now from reading about who the Caucasians really are, they come from Dagestan, Chechnya, and also I think it's called Ingusha, and they're a completely different breed. They're a completely different breed. As a matter of fact, I can't even compare them to like a Western European descendant person. So I'm not going to even use that word out of respect for them after my reading. But you can see that with his let's just say his Anglo. Let's just say that his Anglo comrades will take heed to what he is saying.
Because black women in the West are inferior to white women. Why?
Now, in terms of like, now this is something I don't agree with. They're like, to me, I group them one and the same basically because they both do the same things. Like they just, one just does one in a more extreme, more ratchet way, but the other one just does it in a more, like, I guess you can say like in a more, I guess, subtle way, but they still do the same things. You know what I mean? They're still modern Western women at the end of the day. So that part I don't agree with.
Black women are 189.7 pounds on average.
I do agree with that. I 110% agree with that. I hate to say this, but it's probably been like, I like with black people, with like black women that I see. Let me see. I can literally only count one on one hand. If that looks like healthy, that looks like healthy, good, and stuff like that. I work remotely, so I'm like, I don't really like, I don't really deal with like a lot of people like that. But when I do have to do things for my business and stuff like that, and when I'm out running errands, it's rare that I do see like a healthy black woman. They're like, the majority of them in the West are overweight, so that I do agree with.
They typically have a different type of attitude.
That I agree with too. And they call it being strong, but really what it is like, it's being bitter, it's being combative, it's being masculine, and it's being it's basically telling us to stay away. When I was doing track and field, my long jump coach happened to be from Senegal as well, and we talked, and he married a Senegalese woman, of course, and he even said himself, like, forget about African American women. This is coming from him, and he coaches a lot of, when he was in his coaching, I mean, he got them right in terms of getting them trophies and stuff like that, but he saw firsthand how, they were, and he said, yeah, stay away. He told me that,
They're submissive. I do not believe that these fat, fake-haired women, and plus the fact they can't grow their fucking hair out because they're destroying it constantly.
Well, now that's kind of like a catch-22, because you do have some who, grow their hair out, but more or less those ones who do grow their hair out, they come from like a culturally different background of black people, like, be it they may be Afro-Dominican, be it they may be like just continental African, be it that they may be from the Caribbean, like usually. But if you're dealing with a typical Keisha, though, chances are she's not going to be growing her hair out. There's a high probability she's not going to be doing that. very high probability.
I think it is a downgrade and an insult to a white male to date a black woman or procreate or be with this woman.
So here's a guy who, like, by no means he's not a like Brad Pitt-esque guy, but I guarantee you that Keisha would still try her best to lock him down. You know, she would still try to lock him down. Trust me. You know what I mean? So this is showing you basically how into the mind of the Anglo when they like want to when they're talking about divestment, you know, like divesting.
I 100% think this. Now, however, when we're talking about a black man, should he or should he not date white women? The answer is yes, because
so he, as you see, he's encouraging like black dudes to date white women. He's encouraging that, you know what I mean? Like, so this just goes to show you that he even knows what time it is, you know. Now, that's not to say that I would suggest like a black dude date a white American woman. Hell no. Or even for that most a Western European woman. You know, I would not suggest that, you know, because they're under the same guise. You know, most of them are under the same program. But the fact that he is suggesting that tells you what time it really is. Okay? Do you hear any white women suggesting black women to go get a Brad?
that would be a step up. For white men to date a black woman is a step down. There's no question about it. The bottom line of this is that when you look at black women and white women together against each other, there's no doubt about it. White women are the standard of beauty.
Now, I wouldn't say that. You know, I'm going to end on that note. I'm going to end on that note. I'm going to say that I wouldn't say that, okay? To say that they would be the standard of beauty, I wouldn't go that far. But I would just say in the media, you know, they're the standard of beauty for the most part. You know what I mean? But, you know, you have these pages on Instagram and other social media trying to push black love and things like that. But I hate to say it, and this is gonna hurt their feelings, but when you're pushing black love, a lot of times you're just dealing with chameleons, you know, and then I want to say that, like, you know, you have these dating coaches. I think her name is Kendra G or whatever her name is, not the Crimson Cure, but the one who is like be on Instagram trying to set people up and stuff like that. They just sell them dreams, you know. They just sell them dreams, and you know, if you were to ask Kendra her success story, she probably wouldn't have wouldn't even have like a 25% success rate with those couples. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show you what time it is. But the fact that this gentleman said he has no problem with black men dating out, he even knows that what is to come if you know, if he were to mess with a Keisha. You know what I mean? But anyhow, that's all I got for now, guys. Leave your thoughts and leave your comments. I'm just gonna end on this note. Like, usually if you're a Muslim and you're like a black Muslim, your options are pretty open, because as long as you're versed in the religion most of the time, and as long as you're well off, meaning that you can take care of yourself and you've shown yourself to take care of yourself, then it pretty much will work. I was offered many marriage proposals, but I turned the majority of them down just due to the dynamics in which we're in. You know, I just knew it wasn't going to be conducive to my vision. of what I have planned. You know what I mean? But anyhow, that's all I got for now, guys. Leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Foolish signing out. Enjoy,